Let's give her a crack.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Ooh. Yeah, that's fruity, baby. I can smell the lemon, but it also smells hoppy too.
Afternoon, with our glasses in our hands, the hops and barley bloom in a land of craft and cans. Every sip a story shared, review and taste we dare with our Sunday sips. Sunday sips.
All right.
Every
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Sunday Sips. I'm your host, Kyle Lucas. That is your host, Nick J. Woodard. Say hi to the people, Nick.
What is going on, people?
To this week, we got something new, something fresh, something actually brand new, as in 3 weeks old new. This is, I've heard of this brewery before. I've had a lot of beers from this brewery. I didn't know it was in Sparks, Nevada. This is coming from Revision Brewing, Sparks, Nevada, like I just said. I find their beers pretty accessible where we're at. It's not too far. But we got a treat for you. Today is Blanket Gremlin. It's kind of hard to see. It's a little wonky can. Lots of artistic choices going on here, but it looks pretty neat. That Revision logo is pretty famous. The can is very interesting. As far as the artwork, I like it. This is a hazy India Pale Ale. We got it coming in at 6.5%, so not too bad. But I'm thinking if it's a hazy IPA, that at 6.5, that there's a lot of flavors in here, and not just pretty hoppy.
Oh yeah.
It does say tropically flavored and highly aromatic from Citra, Strata, and Motueka hops. This smooth-bodied, fluffy hazy IPA. Hazy IPA brings to mind ripe tangerine, lime rind, and freshly cut melon. Dude, that excites me. Usually it's just citrusy stuff, but this is, well, I guess tangerine is, but freshly cut melon, that sounds cool.
Oh yeah. This
Yeah.
sounds like it's gonna be right up my alley. For being
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
honest.
You love good haze, good like a good flavored haze for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And we've you're right. We have drank a good amount of Revision beers over the
yeah,
years. They just have a knack for showing up in my fridge. Partially because they make a lot of really cool hazies.
yeah.
Like I feel like that's what I grab from Revision more often than anything.
Mhm.
Trader Joe's, at least our Trader Joe's, is very big on carrying Revision. So this actually
Sure,
came straight from TJ's.
very good.
And I mean, we've said it multiple times on this podcast already, throughout this series of this podcast, I should say. But we're attracted to cans that stand out from the rest. And if
Yeah,
there's one brewery that does that better than pretty much anyone else, it's Revision. Like this can pops. And I would
yeah.
say go take a look at their website. I would say most cans from Revision pop. They pop off the shelf. And I think that's totally by design, and I think it absolutely works for them. So I'm excited, dude. I'm ready to get into this
Yeah,
thing.
this sounds great. Let's give her a crack.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Ooh, yeah, that's fruity, baby. I can smell the lemon, but it also smells hoppy too. Oh yeah, dude, you're gonna love this.
Oh, this is.
you
I mean,
you
I
gonna love this.
mean,
You gonna love this.
I mean. if that isn't,
This ain't a NJW beer.
and this is bumming me out too because I'm on my laptop web camera, so this
Yeah.
really isn't showing the color like it should. But
Yeah, this thing is all sorts of orangey yellow.
oh yeah,
Crazy. All right, let's take a sippy. Let's take a sips.
cheers, pal.
buddy.
Oh,
Oh boy.
oh, mama.
That is delicioso. Oh man. 6.5%. I like it. I can have 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So I'm reading here that this is the New England IPA hazy, and it's relatively the same as just regular hazy, but it's just a little more emphasis on like dry hopping.
Okay.
Typical, that's what you get of like juicies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then hazies are kind of like all encompassing.
Sure.
So that's where like a lot of tropical flavors come from, like fruity. You can get like New England style hazies, but this is a New England style, and this is like from what it says on the can. This is straight textbook. Like I can taste the tangerine, I can taste the lemon, I can taste the lime,
100%.
and I can taste those citra hops too. Those are so good.
So, by that definition, should we anticipate that most New England hazies are gonna have a little bit more emphasis on kind of like bringing out the fruit flavors?
So
Or is
yes,
that just
yes and no, because
okay?
you can have a juicy IPA, and that's not gonna be typically too fruity, but
Sure.
with the process in which they by which they brew, so like emphasis on late hopping, especially dry hopping, that's like with hops of tropical fruit qualities. So
Okay.
so yes and no. I mean, you're gonna see I'm guessing you're probably gonna see a little more in that range, but if it says like juicy, or if it says strictly like not a New England, then we might get a little wet hop action. And hazy's like, okay, so like it says like the mouthfeel is different for juicies and like regular hazies, and for New England IPAs. It's like breaking down like the differences.
Sure.
So typically the bitterness is low in a New England. The bitterness in a regular hazy can be mild to low.
Okay.
So there's also other names for New England IPA. There's Northeast IPA, which is New England. Then for regular hazies, you have juicies, you got East Coast IPA and unfiltered IPA. Both of them can be tropical and juicy. It just leans a little bit more towards the New England side. New England is usually more thick. Regular hazies are usually more creamy, and they're both hazy. They're both cloudy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is one of my favorites. This is super good.
Easily one of my favorites so far, if not the favorite so far. And this is crazy because this is 2 weeks in a row now that we've had beers that I would consider like upper echelon, like right there.
These are very good.
So
I would tend to. I really like the like it's not dry. Like the Elysian was a dry feel.
yeah,
This is more on the wet side when it comes to actually drinking it. But the flavor's all there. I get the citra hops, the fruit, tropicaliness. And I actually, coming from somebody that really enjoys mind-altering beveragino. I'm really enjoying that this is not above 7%.
Yeah.
This we can be in your backyard and have a 6-pack each of these, and you're gonna feel it, but it's not gonna put you in the dirt. I really want to say I like this more than a Sierra Nevada Hazy.
That is a bold statement. Now, to be fair, we're talking about two different styles of haze. Like Sierra
It's
Nevada
true.
Hazy Little Thing is a very traditional hazy.
It's
And
true.
I'm not saying there isn't anything traditional about a New England style hazy, but it is a little bit different.
See, I
Can
don't know.
can they be put in the same box as far as a comparison?
Yeah,
Probably, but it is important to make that distinction.
I don't know. See, I don't know if I would put this above Garage Dweller though.
Okay, now you're just talking crazy.
So by the
Because
transit property, is Garage Dweller better than Hazy?
you and I have talked about this,
Yeah,
that we might like Garage Dweller better than Hazy.
yeah.
And for folks, so just for added context here, because
You
one of
gotta
the beers we're
clarify.
talking about is not a worldwide known beer, and one is Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing. It's their number one selling beer. It
You all know what it is.
sells more than Pale Ale, which is one would consider that to be Sierra Nevada's most iconic offering. But Hazy Little Thing outsells Pale Ale. It's that popular of a beer. Probably one of the better hazies in the entire country.
Mhm.
There is a brewery that is much more local. I would say they are regional at this point, called Farmers Brewing. You may have heard of them. You may have seen our episode on the Farmers Valle Mexican lager. Um, they came out with their very first and to this day only hazy. It's the Garage Dweller Hazy IPA,
Very
and
good.
it may be my favorite hazy to date. And I
Mhm.
love Sierra Nevada and I love Hazy Little Thing, but there's something about Garage Dweller that is so drinkable, so crisp, and I'm not the only one that agrees. They could not keep it on tap the
Yeah,
first month they had it. They could not. It would, as soon as a new barrel, as soon as a new keg got brought in, it got tapped like
tapped
immediately. I
instantly.
can't tell you how many times we went to Farmers in that first period of Garage Dweller being a thing, and they're like, "Yeah, no, sorry, man, it's already sold out." Like
Yeah,
it was incredibly popular. Now it was in a town that's, by and large, most beer drinkers in our town are probably partial to hazy IPAs. It is that kind of an area. White guys
I
with
don't know.
beards, white guys with beards that like to
Yeah,
drink a hazy.
yeah.
Um, so
Lots of flannels.
nothing original about that, but there's something about it. It's that good. So
Yeah,
when you say that this beer might be better than Hazy Little Thing, but not as good as Garage Dweller, is that what you're saying?
yeah. I'm thrown. I think with that statement, I think it by the transitive mathematical property, I think I know which side of the fence I land on.
Man,
And that doesn't mean I don't
but you
love
might not,
hazy.
right? But you might not be wrong though. Think there's a
Yeah.
lot of truth in what you're preaching right now.
In our rating system, I think the difference between Garage Dweller and hazy is not more than a 0.5. Like legitimately. If not
I
2 or 0.25.
yeah.
Like
I
they're
would
that close.
I would put them between, in that 0.25 differential, or I'd
Hmm.
put them tied and just
Yeah.
say,
Just
you
tie
know,
them up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind
It
of where
might
I'm at for me.
this might be a thing of just like a daily basis, what your tongue is preferring that day. You know what I
True.
mean?
True.
Yeah. Yeah. This, however, falls if we tie them up, this falls right on it. I
I
would drink this the same. I would drink this
100%.
exactly the same.
100%. And now I want to echo what you said earlier. The ABV and the flavor complement each other very well because
Yeah.
the flavor of this beer makes it something that you really want to drink, and
Mhm.
you don't want it to stop. You know, you don't want to stop drinking it. And you can do that to an extent, but you can do that because we're coming in at 6.5%. We're not going crazy with it. You know, I've had hazies that really throw the ABV at you, put it right in your
Yeah.
face.
Run the
And
gambit of that.
well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you come
Yeah.
across something that's really tasty and something you want to, indulge in, you want to have like a good mixture in terms of how much actual alcohol is in this beer. And I think this is kind of a perfect percentage for this particular beer.
Yeah. I agree. I'm looking it up right now. The hazy little thing, which is Sierra Nevada's hazy, is 0.2 ABV above it. It's at a 6.7. So this is
That
a
checks out.
6.5. So this is right there. I personally think there's more hoppiness to a hazy and less of
Yeah.
that fruitiness.
Yeah.
But I also think it's because it might not be a New England style. You know what I mean?
Are you on the Sierra Nevada website right now?
No, I'm just on Google I just Googled that.
Okay. I was going to say we should see what the IBUs of the hazy little thing are so we can have a
Ooh,
nice
yeah.
little comparison point for the IBUs of this guy.
Yeah, I was reading the can.
I know
We won't be guessing today
yeah.
because I actually found it. This is at a 38 IBU, if I'm not mistaken.
Hazy little thing is?
No. This one, the beer or the
okay.
Gremlin.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. I found it if you want me to tell you.
It says, oh, if I don't get blocked. Yeah, just tell me. I'm getting it. I'm getting, what is it? For hazy?
For hazy little thing. So like you said, alcohol by volume, 6.7%.
Yeah.
International bitterness units, IBUs, a cool 35.
Okay, so this is
Slightly more.
slightly under. This is 38.
Yeah. So slightly more bitter.
Under.
What's happening, Kyle?
This one's a 38.
Yeah, and the hazy
Hazy's
little
a
thing's a
35.
35.
Yeah. So it's slightly less bitter. The hazy is.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh,
Yes,
you were talking about the
hazy,
Gremlin.
Yeah.
Look at us. Look at us.
Look at us. Who would have thought?
Look at us. Who would have thunk it? Dude, 6.5 really gets to you. No, I mean, yeah, it tastes more fruity than a hazy. I would say the mouthfeel and like just drinkability of it is kind of the same.
Do you
The
like the term
IBUs,
mouth? Do you like the term mouthfeel?
not really. There's just not
I know.
better way to say
It's
it.
a term it's thrown around in beer drinking a lot, and I understand
Yeah.
what people are going for. To me, it's like synonymous with the word moist. Like it irks
Yeah.
me when I hear mouthfeel. And I'm not like trying to knock you. I'm just saying like
I just
I
don't know
hear
what else
people
to
say.
say.
No, I mean I don't think anyone else knows what to say. I think that's the
Mhm.
most appropriate way to say it. But just something about it. Like I'm like, how's that mouth feel?
Yeah.
Like,
I know. I get the same feeling whenever I say it. It's like wooden utensils. Oof.
yeah.
It's
But I see where you're going, and I agree with it.
yeah, I'm talking about like so I would say like the drinkability of it, like
Yeah.
how dry the finish is.
Right.
It's right in the middle for me. I would say like the Sierra Nevada's like big little thing is a little bit drier, a little bit more. I mean, a lot more hefty, obviously.
Sure.
But this is very much in anywhere kind of beer. I can be like I remember using the garage application before. Like I could be in a garage, I could be on the beach, I could be in my living room, I could be in your living room. I don't care. This beer is for that occasion. I like it.
100%. 100%. I will say that uh, Revision has been on my list for a very long time as far as actually going and visiting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think this is pushing it even higher on the list. So we're gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
figure out a way to get our asses out there to really check this thing out and see what it's all about, because they've made a lot of good beers, that
Yeah.
both you and I have drank. So I
Yeah.
think it's well past due for us to make a trip out.
Take a little trip, ski out. I've literally had the Citrus Slam. I know that their IPA is super good. The Cryptic Love is super good, which is another IPA of theirs. I've had their other New England style hazy, which is their Disco Ninja,
Mm-hmm.
and that's super good.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, what I remember of the Disco Ninja is it's slightly more bitter, less fruity than this one.
Sure.
And I'm looking at it. It's slightly higher ABV. It's sitting at a 7.
Okay.
So that makes sense for sure. And I love Disco Ninja. It's super good. I feel like they've had that one for. I feel like they've had that for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I while looking up their website and on Google and everything, I stumbled across the brewery page, like just on Google, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reviews were like through the roof.
Oh, dude.
That no one has anything bad to say about it.
And they shouldn't. I mean, it's
Mhm.
that good of an establishment.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of the more well known. We're hitting a lot of more well known ones for now, like
Yeah.
Voodoo, the Revision, right?
Revision, right?
Yeah. So
Sierra Nevada, obviously, Russian River. You know, some definite well-known selections, but
I feel like most people would know what Elysian is, stuff
sure.
like that. You know,
Sure. You know,
I feel like with the
we mixed a
exception,
few, you know, small town microbreweries in there. We got a little farmers action. We got a little Blue Note Brewing out of Woodland.
Blue Note. I was gonna say last week, Blue Note. That was probably our more niche market for that one. But that's kind of the idea of this podcast, is to get beers that no one's ever heard of and get them to try it out themselves. Come on down, try it out.
Yeah, try it out.
Try it out. You're gonna love it.
Shout out, Tom.
Yeah.
No, it's we're gonna come across some brand name beers. We're gonna give those a shot because, you know, why wouldn't we? But
Sure.
I mean, I think about next week. I think about the beer that's on the docket for next week. A brewery that is like strictly Chico area. Like you cannot find this beer outside of Chico. And I'm interested to see how it's going to go for you, because it's not your style of beer. But I'm excited about it because
we're flipping the script on the next one.
We're flipping the script a little bit.
But you know what? I'm going to be positive about it. We're going to go in. We're going to do it. I'm going to rate next week's beer next week. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take it one step at a time. Speaking of rating, we got to rate Blanket Gremlin.
Hell of a segue.
I'll start this one. I feel like you started the last two.
Please.
So this is, I'll put it, I mean, it's in the hazy category. I'm obviously comparing this to like a hazy. When I say hazy, I'm always thinking I'm saying Sierra Nevada, but it's hazy little thing.
Right.
I'm going to put this at a 8.75 because, and this is I would still prefer a Valle to this, and I gave Valle a 9, but barely touch. And I think that's more like I'm talking like first beer, right? First
Yeah.
beer of the day.
Yeah.
I'm imagining 4 or 5 p.m. We're off work, we're tired, but it's a Friday, right?
Yep.
And you're like, hey kid, can I get you one? I'm like, yes, hell yeah.
Yes, you can.
I think my preference would lean towards a Mexican lager first, and that's why that one wins. But yeah, dude, this is super fire. 8.75 all the way to me.
I think it's a great score. And I think, honestly, and this is not the first time you and I have done this, but I think it's going to be the same score for me, but for slightly different reasons.
Okay.
It's a very good hazy, and it is incredibly delicious, and it's probably my top 2 favorite beers that we've had so far on the podcast, with last week's North Shore IPA from Blue Note Brewing being right there at an 8.75 as well.
For sure.
I know that my favorite hazy in the world will score higher than this, and I think I'm being a little conservative on the score here because I want to have some wiggle room when we get into when we eventually hit the hazy little thing, when we eventually hit the garage dweller. So
right.
I think this is coming in at a solid 8.75. And in a different world, it could easily be a 9 for me, but I think it's very comfortable in that 8.75 score.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just sheer volume of what we're going to get to.
Right.
I never want to blow any beer out of proportion, and of course, it's just such good beer right now when we're drinking it. So it's crazy.
I think there's opportunity to revisit these scores down the line, and we've got a lot of beer to drink, so it probably won't happen anytime soon. But I maybe, like we did in the teaser episode for this podcast, maybe it comes to a point where we try a flight of hazies and we revisit the scores based on how they compare to each other.
Yeah, like our top 5 or something like that.
Take our top 5 of each each style that we've had.
Yeah, or we could do something really, like if we were finding a certain type of beers, just getting a flat score of like if take the hazies, right? And it's just 8.75, or like 9 or like 8.5, right? And it's obviously us trying to divvy it up. Then we would take that pool and like do a little flight sample and really decide because they always taste so much. I was gonna say they always taste so much better when you're drinking them right now. You know what I mean?
Sure. There's some recency bias for sure.
Yeah. And you're trying to think of what the other beer tastes like. Yeah, this is I was looking at the can earlier and I was kind of expecting it. I was like, this is going to be a good one.
No, when I saw this on the shelves, I was excited because like I know how well Revision does hazies, and just looking at the can itself, looking at the description and exactly what's going on here, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a solid beer. And sure enough, it was pretty damn solid. So,
all right, here's the last bit of mine. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, pal.
Oh yeah, dude, that's halfway to chuggable.
Oh, easily, dude. I'll let you do the honors. I'm just gonna say like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. This has been another episode of Sunday Sips.
And don't forget, you crack one for us, we crack one for you. Take care.
From citrus zest to dark night, we unravel flavors lore. Mosaic dreams take flight of IPAs and we adore. raise a toast to what's new here in the world of craft beer with Sunday sips. Sunday sips. Every pour a trip with our Sunday sips. Each note we hear as we sip and cheer, craft beer's near, Sunday's treasures clear with our Sunday sips. Sunday sips, every pour a trip with a Sunday.